All right. So today we're going over cutting the cord, which is getting rid of cable TV and all of the contracts and extra payments and stuff like that that comes with it. So we're going to go over what you need in order to cut the cord, set-top box options, cable alternative options, and then streaming services. If you don't know what those things mean, bear with me because I'll go over it. I do want to start by saying I am not an expert in all of these services. I'll answer your questions to the best of my ability, but if there's something I don't know the answer to, I'll get back to you through an email with the answer to that question. The other thing is that today I'm mostly going through things in alphabetical order, not order of best to worst or worst to best or anything like that. It's just alphabetical order for organization purposes. The other thing is that any of the prices and compatible devices that I go over are accurate as of May 22nd. So it's about 5 days old. Usually things don't change that much in 5 days. But if you decide in 3 months that now you're ready to cut the cord, just make sure you do a little extra research on the price because it may have changed in that period of time. And then the final thing is it's important to think about your specific situation and what you're looking to still be able to watch after cutting the cord, as well as what your TV is capable of when we're looking at these options. There's a lot of things. Basically, every TV is able to do some sort of a streaming service. It's just going to depend on which one you're able to do. All right. So like I said, cutting the cord is all about canceling a cable or satellite TV subscription, and often literally getting rid of all those extra cords that come with the boxes. So the first question you want to ask yourself is, what do you want from TV? If you want to be able to watch everything all the time, cutting the cord is not going to be for you. But if you're like me and all you need is some Food Network and some HGTV, you can probably cut the cord and save 50, 80 bucks. The other thing to think about is how much you're paying for cable TV right now. If you're paying more than $50 a month, you're likely going to save money by cutting the cord. Most of the time, the live TV streaming services cost between 40 and 60 bucks. So if you're paying about $40 to $60 for your TV service right now, you might just want to keep it because you're really not going to save all that much money. So like I said, we're going to go over the things you need to cut the cord, set-top box options, cable replacement services, and then streaming services. You don't need much to cut the cord, but the first thing you are going to need is a fast internet connection. You're streaming all of this stuff, so you need an internet connection that can handle that download. You're probably going to want at least, at the very minimum, a 15 megabyte per second service, though for some services you're going to want as high as 25 megabytes per second. This is something that's listed on each of the streaming services. They talk about what kind of internet connection you need. So if you don't know or you're not sure, look at your internet connection and then compare that with what the service says. The other thing to think about is if you're bundling your cable and your internet service, you need to price it out. Most of the time when you cut one of those in a bundle, your internet's going to end up going up. So price that out, because if your internet is going to go up 30 bucks a month, you might end up not saving anything. The next thing you need is a way to connect these services to your television, either through apps on a smart TV or a physical device that you plug into your television. Most of the physical plugins use an HDMI cable, but some have an option to use those AV ports instead. So most current HD TVs have an HDMI port. It's a little, I should have brought a cord. It's just a little cord that you plug into the side. If you don't have an HDMI port, we're going to look solely at the Roku devices for you, and then I'll explain what that means. When I go through each of the services, I'm going to talk about how it plugs into your television so you can see if you would be able to use that service or not. And for the most part, that's it. That's all you need. Each one of those cable alternatives that I'm going to talk about today has a section on their website about what you will need in order to access their service. So just make sure you look at their website before you commit to anybody. Are there any questions about this first part?
No questions in chat.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen so I can show you all. Oh, maybe. There we go. So the first thing we're looking at today are set-top boxes. So if you don't have a smart television, there's several different options for getting your streaming content onto your television. Most of this is through these set-top boxes. They're small devices that you plug directly into your television that let you share content from a computer, phone, tablet to your TV screen. So the first one we're going to look at is the Amazon Fire TV Stick. So Amazon has their own line of set-top boxes, and you can get really fancy ones for 4K, enhanced Alexa connections, speakers, things like that. But we're just going to look at the basic Fire TV sticks. So the cost is $39.99. That's the normal price right now. They're having a deal for $29.99. Or it's $49.99 for the 4K version. So once your Fire TV stick is plugged into your it plugs into your HDMI port. You can navigate to it through your input. So the same way if you have a DVD player and you have your remote and you switch to that DVD player's input, that's how you would navigate to the Fire TV stick. And then on that Fire TV stick, you can download apps and stuff like that to stream your content. Are there questions about the Fire Stick?
No questions.
Perfect. So the next one we're looking at is Apple TV. So if you're an Apple product person, there is an expensive set-top box option for you. This is the most expensive thing we're going to look at all day. It comes in at a whopping $150. It plugs into your HDMI port. And then they have an app that you can download to Apple devices to bring your TV content with you on the go. They do also have a 4K version. So if you wanted that 4K, you could get this. It's even more expensive. See, it isn't even listing the price. But if you do have a 4K TV and you like Apple products, you can do $179 or $199. This storage space is how many apps it can download. So if you have a lot of different streaming apps, you would need a larger storage space. Any questions about Apple TV?
No questions in chat.
Perfect. So the next one we're going to look at is Google Chromecast. This is a Google device that plugs directly again into your HDMI port. There's two different options. There's regular Chromecast for $35 or Chromecast Ultra for $69. And that Ultra streams 4K HD content. Chromecast is a receiver, so it doesn't have a menu or a guide of what you can use Chromecast with, the same way that the Apple TV and the Amazon Fire TV have. Instead, on Chromecast, you are casting your own content. So on a smartphone or a tablet, you can download the Chromecast app, and then you share it from that tablet or laptop screen to the receiver, which then plays it on your television. If you have a computer, you can also use the Chromecast button that is in Google Chrome, and then it sends it to your TV that way. So Chromecast is a little bit different. but it's also one of the cheaper options. Are there questions about Chromecast?
No questions.
Perfect. So the final set-top box we're going to look at is Roku. We're going to talk about Roku in a couple different places today because they're both a set-top box and a streaming service. So we can kind of talk about them in a couple different places. But the gist is that it's a device that plugs directly into your TV, turning it into a smart TV. They have all kinds of different options, starting at about $25, $29.99 normally. That can do all kinds of different things. So whether you need 4K, just regular HD, wireless range, whatever it may be, there is a Roku device for you. They have all this extra stuff with it. A lot of Roku devices also have to be plugged into the wall to power them. So you kind of have to think about that too. Make sure you have a surge protector with enough open slots. There are a couple of Roku devices that let you plug into AV ports. Yeah, this one. So it includes those composite cables for older TVs. So if you don't have an HDMI plug on your TV, that doesn't mean you're out of luck as far as streaming and cutting the cord. This Roku device lets you turn your older TV into a smart TV. So most of the Roku devices plug into your HDMI port with the exception of this Roku Express Plus. And then the same way you navigate to it with your regular remote from the input. And then you can use the Roku remote. So it comes with a separate remote to download new apps for the content you want. So it's very similar to a Fire TV stick. Are there questions?
Carol asks, can the Roku be used as a DVR?
So it depends. So the Roku in and of itself, no, but you can have like if you're using one of the streaming services that's compatible with Roku, like YouTube TV, then on YouTube TV, you can DVR things. So the Roku device itself isn't the DVR, it's the stuff you install on the Roku.
That's all the questions.
All right. So these are the most popular set-top box options, but not necessarily the only ones. Like I said earlier, you're always going to want to do your own investigating and comparison before you make a decision. But the important thing to point out with these devices is it's a one-time fee. You're not paying this $30 every month. You're only paying it once to actually buy the device. It's the other things that you install on these devices that you would pay a subscription for. Sometimes it's easier to figure out what cable alternative that you want, and then from there see what that's compatible with and then use that to make your decision on your set-top box, if that makes sense. But so now that we kind of know how to connect our TVs if we don't have a smart TV, we're going to talk about your options for live television alternatives. So this is really like basically a cable alternative. So the first one we're going to look at is AT&T TV Now. It used to be DirecTV Now, and then AT&T took that over. So AT&T TV Now has several different package options. These are their most popular, Plus and Max. Plus is $55 a month for just over 45 channels. It includes sports channels, so you get ESPN, ESPN2, FS1, things like that. You also get the normal channels, ABC, CBS, and Fox. I'm going to put in the library zip code to show you the local channels. So we get our normal ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, and then Telemundo. So these are the local channels that you would receive with AT&T TV now. There's also the Max. It comes with a couple extra things, so you get HBO and things like that included. You get like ESPNU, just some extra channels for $80 a month. They have 5 other packages as well. So there's lots of other options: entertainment, extra, ultimate, and then a Spanish language channel as well. So obviously you can see these are going to be more expensive, but if that's what you need, then that's what you can choose. You can add on extra channels if you want. So you can add Showtime or Stars and things like that for extra charges each month. So $11, $6, $15, whatever it may be for a specific channel. So like if you've got to watch Outlander, you can add Stars for $11 a month. There's several different ways you can watch AT&T TV now. So this is just all of the different devices that it's compatible with, like a million different Roku devices, Apple, Amazon, Chromecast, and then different smart TVs, as well as smartphones, internet browsers, things like that. So some other information that you would want to know about AT&T TV now is that you get 500 hours of cloud DVR. Things can be stored for a max of 90 days. So after 3 months, your recordings expire, and then you'll have to re-record it or do something like that. The other thing is that you can watch up to three simultaneous streams, which just means I can be watching in the living room, my fiance could be watching in the bedroom, and somebody could have it up on a computer screen. So you can just watch it in multiple places at one time. Are there any questions about AT&T TV now? It's a lot of T's.
No questions.
Perfect. All right, so the next one we're going to look at is Fubu TV. So the Fubu standard package comes with 102 channels, and then you'll get some extra channels based on your current location. This one has changed because I just checked this and it was 102 and now it's saying 187. But they do have add-ons that you can add for extra charges each month. These are all the local channels that you can, oh, this is what it is. They're advertising a different channel. So this Fubu standard, $55, 102 channels. And then these are the local channels. So you get the normal CBS, Fox, NBC, things like that. You can also get, different sports channels, NBC SN, FS1. They have a couple of the NFL networks, things like that. You'll notice that you don't see any of the ESPNs on Fubu, but Fubu has its own sports network. So you're not necessarily going to miss out on those things. It's just not going to be the same coverage that you're used to watching right now. There are a couple different ways you can watch Fubu TV. So you can do it with a Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire, Chromecast, as well as smartphones and tablets. You get 30 hours of cloud DVR space with Roku. You can access it anywhere at any time. You do have the option to pay an additional $10 a month to up your DVR space. You get a 3-day replay for games, shows, and movies. So even if you forgot to record it, you can still access it. And then there's an extra, you can stream on 2 screens at once, or you can pay an additional $6 a month to get 1 additional stream. Are there any questions about Fubu?
No questions.
All right, So the next one we're going to look at is Hulu plus live TV. Hulu, we're going to talk about in the streaming service section as well, because in addition to a cable alternative, it's also a streaming service. But it's $54.99 a month, with some extra add-ons that you can choose for channels, enhanced DVR, extra screens, and more. So there are 65 channels that you get with Hulu. It does give you live local channels. So, you know, ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC, and then as well as Telemundo. They have all the normal sports channels because Hulu partners with ESPN. So you can see you've got all those ESPNs here. There's, again, several different ways you can watch Hulu plus live TV. Smart TVs, Chromecast, Roku, Apple TV, Xbox One, smartphone, tablet, or more. There is one thing to note about Hulu is that your internet connection has to be a non-mobile connection. So you can't use a hotspot in order to access Hulu plus live TV. So like I was saying, Hulu is also a streaming service. And if you choose Hulu plus live TV, you get access to that streaming library. It has shows like Seinfeld, This Is Us, and lots more. I'll go into more detail about that when we get to the streaming service section though. You can watch on 2 screens at a time. And you get 50 hours of cloud DVR with an option to upgrade to 200 hours. Are there any questions about Hulu?
No questions.
Perfect. All right, the next one we're going to look at is Philo, once I can make my screen cooperate. So Philo is the cheapest we're going to look at. It comes in at $20 per month. So the lineup that Philo provides has 59 channels. It includes a couple different things. You've got Food Network, you've got HGTV, but you'll notice you don't see any sports channels, and there's also no local channels. You can get an HD antenna if you really needed those local channels. But if you, like I was saying at the beginning, if you evaluated what you need out of TV and all you need is Food Network and HGTV, Philo is only $20 a month. There's several different ways you can watch Philo. Android TV, Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, smartphones and tablets. They're working on adding support for more devices, but for now, those are the only ways that you can access Philo. There's unlimited DVR for up to 30 days. So after 30 days, it does expire, but it's unlimited to that point. You can stream on up to 3 devices at the same time as well. Are there any questions about Philo?
No questions.
Perfect. So earlier we talked about Roku, and we're going to come back to Roku now. My Zoom controls keep hiding my Google Chrome tab, so I have to wait for them to hide. There we go. So Roku, like I said, has lots of different options as far as the device you get goes, ranging from $29.99 to $99.99. But the thing about Roku is that you have access to hundreds of free shows and movies on the Roku channel. So this doesn't cost anything. It comes with your Roku device. And so this is an example of all the older movies they have, but I promise they have newer ones as well. They also have things like the news. I don't actually want it to. So news and things like that. So you can watch these things live. It's not going to be our local news channels, but it is going to be those national news channels, and some of it is world news. So it does have live things like that on here. Go back. all kinds of movies, television shows, lots of stuff. You can also add on these premium subscriptions. So if that's all you needed to watch was just Outlander, well, you can add Outlander to your Roku device or add Stars to your Roku device and then watch Outlander to your heart's content. The free channels on Roku do have some advertisements, so you are going to have to watch a few commercials. But some channels like PBS are going to have no ads. So the Roku device is, again, just that one-time payment, and then most of what you see on this Roku channel is totally free. Are there any questions about Roku?
We have a question from Carol. Is the library considering offering Acorn TV in addition to Canopy?
Not at this point, but that is definitely something we would love to explore in the future. And we are going to talk a little bit about Acorn and Canopy. All right, so our next one is Sling TV. So there's two different levels of Sling TV. You have Sling Blue and Sling Orange. They have different channels on each, but they're both $30 per month. Excuse me, Sling Blue has 50 channels, Sling Orange has 30 channels. So Sling Blue gets you some of those NBC regional sports, as well as these that you can see here. Whereas Sling Orange has some difference. So this one has HGTV, things like that. Food Network. So unfortunately, Sling does not offer local channels. So when I look at their local channels list, I'm looking at the library street address in Littleton. And it says receive up to 47 local channels, but what that's telling you is that you need an indoor or an outdoor antenna in order to access these. So they're not actually streaming through Sling. So it's kind of a misleading 47 channels because you don't really get them. You have to purchase an antenna in order to access those. We're going to look a little bit at HD antennas. Sling has an option, like a package option, that you can buy an antenna when you purchase a Sling subscription, but we'll look at different antennas just anyways. So on Sling, you can add on, same deal, those extra channels if you needed Stars. There's lots of different ways you can watch. Smart TVs, Roku, Amazon Fire, Chromecast, smartphones, tablets, etc. You get 10 hours of cloud DVR storage, but you can pay $5 a month to get 50 hours of storage. Yeah, and that's it. Are there any questions about Sling TV?
No questions.
Perfect. So the last cable alternative that we're going to look at is YouTube TV. So it's $49.99 a month for 70 plus channels. You do get those local networks. Let's see, I think I put it in already. So you'd get, you know, your normal networks, Telemundo, CW. They have all the sports that you could ever possibly want. World news, things like that. They've got it all. There's lots and lots of different ways you can watch YouTube TV. It is compatible with Roku, Chromecast, Apple TV, smart televisions, gaming devices, smartphones and tablets. You can also get to it on your computer, things like that. So many of the YouTube TV networks provide recent episodes of shows, movies, and more on demand. So if you didn't catch a recording of it, you're still able to watch it. You get 3 simultaneous streams. So there again, 3 devices can be watching 3 different things at one time. There's cloud DVR with no storage limits. So unlimited DVR storage, and recordings are kept for 9 months. You can view your DVR materials anywhere, but you can only get the live TV in the areas that it's launched. I'm from a small town in Virginia, and so the live TV options there aren't the same as the live TV options here in Metro Denver. So when we travel back, it's a little bit less available. Are there any questions about any of the cable alternatives that I've gone over?
No questions.
Cool. So the next thing we're going to talk about are different streaming services. So streaming services differ from live television options because it's a preset catalog of TV shows. So it's on-demand content. You're never going to have to wait until 7 p.m. to see that show because that's when it's airing. It's available right then. Items are usually a combination of original content as well as TV and movie studio content that they have licensed from those studios. The catalogs are regularly updated to add more. And then the other thing is that there's almost never overlap between services. So what I see on Disney Plus is not going to also be on Netflix, is not going to also be on Hulu. They make it pretty proprietary. So the first one we're going to look at is Disney Plus. So this was a big deal at the end of last year. It just came out. You get all of the content from Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, and National Geographic. Lots of different content here. They also have a deal with the Hulu streaming service as well as ESPN Plus, where you can get all 3 of these streaming services for only $12.99 a month. That is a steal because Hulu by itself is like $12.99. So to use Disney Plus, you just have to have any internet connected device that can download the Disney Plus app. So that includes smartphones, tablets, computers, smart TVs, gaming consoles, and more. Some of the things that are popular on Disney Plus, you may have heard people talking about The Mandalorian, the Star Wars TV show. They have most of the Marvel movies, not all because Netflix still has some, but they have the Pixar movies, The Simpsons, Disney Princesses, as well as Disney Channel TV shows. Any questions about Disney Plus?
No questions.
All right, so the next one is Hulu. So Hulu, there again, it's adding this whole deal here. So you can get 2 different plans from Hulu. There is this $5.99 a month, or you can do $11.99 a month for no ads. So there again with Hulu, you just need an internet connected device that can get the Hulu app, smart TVs, phones, tablets, gaming consoles, and more. So Hulu, there is only a few things that you can download for offline viewing, which means like if you're on a plane trip or you're up in the mountains, you're not generally able to watch what's on Hulu. They're expanding this, so that information is likely going to change as they continue to add more and more things for offline use, but right now it's still a pretty limited amount. Hulu's pretty cool because they often partner with TV networks and upload new episodes of television shows the day after they air. So you'll see here where we have This Is Us being advertised. I think that was a Thursday night show. So on Friday, you would be able to watch that most recent episode of This Is Us. So some of the things that are popular on Hulu, This Is Us, Handmaid's Tale. They have lots of movies, things like that. We watch a lot of Bob's Burgers on Hulu. Any questions about Hulu?
No questions.
So Canopy is a pretty cool streaming service because it's totally free with your Bemis Public Library library card. There's over 30,000 movies, documentaries, foreign language films, great courses, and more on Canopy. And like I said, it's totally free with your library card. Canopy can be streamed again on any internet connected device, smartphones, tablets, smart TVs, computers, and more. So with your Bemis library card, you get 10 watch credits per month. What that just means is that you can watch 10 things for free each month. It's per calendar month, so on the first of the next month, it resets back to 10. Things check out for 72 hours. You can watch it as much as you want within those 72 hours, but after that, you're gonna have to use another watch credit in order to re-access it. There's also a Canopy Kids section that's pretty cool. Let's get this to load. It has story time, so reading of books. They have some classic TV shows. They have Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, Arthur, lots of PBS stuff. So Canopy Kids is pretty cool as well. They have all of Studio A24 films, so that's pretty cool. They have a lot of great courses, documentaries. Right now, they're also doing credit-free viewing, so you can watch any of these movies without having to use one of your watch credits. And that's just kind of trying to help people out while we're all stuck at home still. But yeah, so they have lots of great movies. Some of the most popular ones, let's see if I can get it to show. It's not going to cooperate, but they have like The Farewell, they have this Megan Levy, so they have lots. It's a great combination of new and old movies on this. Are there any questions about Canopy?
No questions.
Perfect. So the next one we're going to look at is Netflix. Once my controls hide. So again, Netflix is a streaming service with award-winning TV shows, movies, anime, documentaries, and more. You can watch on any internet-connected device that offers the Netflix app. They have a couple different plans. It starts at $8.99 a month for one screen in standard definition. You can upgrade to the standard plan, which includes 2 screens in high definition for $12.99 a month, or the premium, which is 4 screens in high definition and 4K for $15.99 per month. So you can kind of pick and choose what you need. On Netflix, you can download things for offline use. So you can download things to watch when you don't have an internet connection. So some of the popular things we are seeing here, Stranger Things, these To All the Boys I've Loved Before, Orange is the New Black, Black Mirror, and for a limited time, because NBC is working on their own streaming service, you have access to The Office. Any questions about Netflix?
No questions.
Cool. So the next one we're going to look at is Prime Video. So this is from Amazon. So in order to access Prime Video, you have to have a Prime membership to watch anything on it. So it's cost either $12.99 a month, or there's like a yearly fee for like $120. So you have to have that Amazon Prime subscription that comes with the free shipping and the stuff like that in order to access Prime Video. Amazon has a pretty hefty collection of original videos, and there's also Amazon Studios, which is their movie studio, and they don't release a ton of their Amazon Studios movies on DVD. So there's a lot of times movies that came out were really popular in theaters that you're only able to watch streaming through Amazon Prime. So there again, You can watch Prime Video on any device that has an internet connection, and you can download the Prime Video app. So anything that's Amazon, Fire tablets, things like that, as well as smart TVs, smartphones, tablets, gaming consoles, and more. So some of the things that are popular: The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, Man in the High Castle. They have Parks and Recreation, Downton Abbey, The X-Files, Doctor Who, and then some Prime stuff here. Any questions about Amazon Prime?
No questions.
Perfect. So the last one we're going to look at is Acorn TV. This is a kind of a unique streaming service and kind of a niche one that's a lot of fun because it's focusing on content from Britain, Ireland, and Australia. So there's a couple different choices. You can choose between a monthly subscription of $5.99 a month or a yearly subscription of $59.99 a year. Same with all the other streaming service. You just need an internet connection that can download the Acorn TV app, Roku, Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, smartphones and tablets, or a computer. The thing with Acorn, you cannot download shows for offline viewing, so you do have to have an internet connection in order to access Acorn. But you can see some of their most popular stuff here: Foyle's War. They have Manhunt, Midsummer Murders, things like that. So if you love a good British drama, Acorn is definitely the streaming service for you. Any questions about Acorn or anything that I have gone over?
No questions.
Perfect. So if you want one of the cable alternatives or streaming services that don't have local TV channels, you can get an HD antenna. So it's a one-time fee that works the same as those old rabbit ear antennas. It's just receiving a free broadcast from those local TV stations. So antennaweb.org, you can enter your address and see what is available. It's color coded, so this just tells you what kind of antenna you would need to buy, as well as where those are broadcasting. So most of our channels for the library's location are on a yellow. You get like 70 some channels with an antenna. There's like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6. You get Rocky Mountain PBS this way, so that's pretty cool. Depending on where you're at, you may need to get an outdoor antenna. So it's going to range between like 20 and 60 bucks. But if you're like in the middle of a subdivision and you've got neighbors on all sides, you're going to end up having to spend a little bit more. So that way your antenna is strong enough to receive those broadcasts. So that's just something to kind of think about. And then similarly, if you're interested in a cable alternative that doesn't offer the sports package that you want, you can consider getting a subscription to a specific league pass. So if you they're like, I don't care about anything other than Nuggets basketball. Okay, well then maybe the NBA League Pass is the thing for you. Those are usually pretty expensive, like 80 bucks. So kind of keep that in mind. But the other thing is that a lot of times those league passes have to black out local broadcasts. So you might still be better off getting an antenna rather than that league pass. Are there any questions about anything?
Carol says, this is more of a comment. I have an amplified antenna and local ABC channel 7 and PBS channel 12 do not come in very well. This has been a problem for a while.
That's good to know. So you said it was an amplified antenna?
Yes, amplified. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we haven't used an antenna since forever, so we have the YouTube TV personally. So I'm always interested to hear, we've had another person who was like, all I want is Rocky Mountain PBS, and that comes in great for her. So it is a location thing too.
Janet says she has the same problem.
Okay. Yeah. So kind of keep that in mind. Perfect. So I am going to email everybody a handout for this class. It's going to have everything we went over from local channels, smart. I just read the comment and I totally lost my train of thought. From local channels, sports channels, what tech is needed, and the cost, so that you don't have to try to remember everything we talked about today. So keep an eye out in your email for that. I'm going to send it right now. And then if you have any questions or anything like that, let me know.
There are two other things.
Okay.
Amy asks, when you say smart TV, does it matter what brand, Samsung, etc.?
So Amy, sometimes is the short answer. There are some of those, and it's usually the channels or the streaming services that are the cheaper with less channel options that are only compatible with like a Samsung smart TV. For the most part, for the bigger services, it doesn't matter. And you can just whatever your smart TV is. The other thing to keep in mind is that like older smart TVs aren't necessarily able to download the apps. So we have a coworker, I think her TV is it's a 2012 or 2013, I think, and she isn't able to download the Canopy app. So she got an Amazon Fire TV stick, and then from there is able to make her older smart TV into a newer smart TV. So even if your smart TV isn't necessarily compatible, you can still use those set-top boxes to make it compatible.
And then go ahead. Janet asks, what is TiVo?
How did she spell that?
TIVO.
So that's, so TiVo is like another device, but it's like a DVR that you can connect. So, I'm pulling it up here. So, all right, this website is not cooperating. So it's kind of like a set-top box. So they have different options, but for the most part, it's a way to record stuff. They do have some streaming services, but most of the time it's like in addition to your thing.
And then Amy asks, how do you find out what your TV is capable of?
So, Amy, all of these services have free trials, and then you can always download the app for free regardless. So if you have your smart TV, navigate to where you can download apps and just try searching for the one you're interested in. Canopy is a good test because no matter what, it's going to be totally free. So you can get signed in with your library card. But that's what I would start with, is just figuring out which ones you're kind of interested, seeing if your TV can download those apps. Perfect.
That's all the questions.
Perfect. Let me stop the recording.